Alan, the really fascinating thing here has been that the great drive for Brexit has been one about sovereignty for many people, and yet when it came to the sovereignty of Parliament, the government had no interest whatever in either offering MPs a vote on the terms of Brexit or indeed offering a white paper. All these things, even tonight, the standing there, has had to be dragged out of the government at every stage.
Well, it's funny because Angela and I were chatting about this earlier, actually. It's not just the government, it's, some of this as well, that they like the idea of sovereignty when it came to having national referendum, but now when it comes to debating the deal, well, should Parliament have a role? So clearly it's confusing for some. Absolutely right. I think, to be fair to the government, in their view, the number of debates we've had, the select committees that are set up, the number of questions that are responded to in the House, they probably felt that enough meaningful debates. But I'm certainly pleased that we do have a white paper, and I was disappointed that one of the amendments got turned down last night, which would have given Parliament a greater say in the final deal. But I think slowing there, it is vital that Parliament has a role in this. My Remain constituency will want to make sure that I have given it everything I've got to make sure that deal works and is constituents.
But when it comes to it tonight, how many of your colleagues will actually vote against Brexit?
On my sunny one, I would imagine only Ken Clarke will.
And he has now assumed for the 48% a heroic status.
Yes, he has. It's funny that I have a lot of those in my constituency too, but most are, as Angela described, maturely reaching the conclusion that this wasn't a normal vote last year in June. This was a national referendum. The answer, or the question rather, into the hands of the British people. So it's right that we absolutely respect that. And most of my constituents are coming round to that and now are just interested in the deal and let's making sure we get the very best. We've moved on.
Angela Rayner, do you think that there will be comeback for MPs in their constituencies?
Well, I hope not. This is the democratic constituents. Sometimes, we often say we speak on behalf of our constituents, but of course constituents have different views at times, so you have to make a judgment call based upon the nation that you're in. There was a referendum. It's clear what that referendum result was, and MPs have to do what they think's right by their constituents and by the country. As the Labour leadership, that we have to respect that mandate, and we will be voting to trigger Article 50, but making sure that the government are responsible to Parliament and we get the possible deal for our constituents.
Yeah, you talk a very good story, but the truth is you are bitterly and perhaps terminally destroyed by this vote. This is a sort of division Labour has seen in many, many years.
Talk a good story and the media do, because I'm living and breathing what's happening here, and I'm not seeing divisions. Yes, people are quite rightly upset and concerned about what Brexit will mean to them, but our shadow cabinet and our leadership are absolutely clear and have a start that we have to respect the democratic will of the people, and that we will trigger Article 50.
And Heidi Allen, finally, you're satisfied that henceforth Labour, Tory, Liberal, Scott Nats MPs will get a proper role in what happens from here on in to get a decent deal in Europe?
Absolutely, and it's incumbent on every single one of us to make absolutely certain that we do.
Well, thank you both very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.